Council of the Seaside Park, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, held on Thursday, October 17th, 2024, advertised to begin at the conclusion of the work session, which has just now ended. Pursuant to the provisions of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting was properly provided by transmitting the notice of the meeting for publication to the Asbury Park Press and the Star Ledger on January 5th, 2024. Notice of the meeting also of the governing body has been posted in the corridor of the municipal building and in the office of the municipal clerk. Roll call.
Councilmember Anfield?
Here.
Councilmember Condos?
Here.
Councilmember Connor?
Here.
Councilmember Kraft?
Here.
Councilmember Rotunda?
Here.
Council President Wilk?
Here.
Mayor Pearson?
Here.
Thank you.
Let us all rise together now for a moment of silence to be followed by a Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first item on the agenda are minutes, approval of the October 3rd, 2024 work session minutes and the October 3rd, 2024 regular meeting. Any questions, comments from council, or if not, a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilmember Condo, second by Council President Wilk. Roll call.
Councilmember Condos?
Yes.
Council President Wilk?
Yes.
Councilmember Anfield?
Yes.
Councilmember Connor?
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft?
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next are the special meeting minutes. Those are of October 3rd, 2024. Any comments from council, or if not, a motion?
I'll make the motion, Mayor.
Motion by Councilmember Kraft,
I'll second, Mr. Mayor.
second by Councilmember Hammerville. Roll call.
Councilmember Kraft?
Yes.
Councilmember Anfield?
Yes.
Councilmember Condos?
Yes.
Councilmember Connor?
I'll abstain, I wasn't there.
Thank you. Councilmember Rotunda?
Yes.
Council President Wilk?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next are the payment of claims, 224-304, approving payment of the itemized claims as set forth on the check register bill list for the period October 4th to October 17th, 2024. Any questions, comments from council, or if not, a motion?
I'll make a motion, Mayor.
Motion by Councilmember Connor,
Second.
second by Councilmember Condos. Roll call.
Councilmember Connor?
Yes.
Councilmember Condos?
Yes.
Councilmember Anfield?
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft?
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda?
Yes.
Council President Wilk?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Next are the resolutions. I'll read in summary fashion. 305. What did I do? Oh, I don't have the revised agenda. I apologize. We have authorizations, and there is one, a last-minute submission on the revised agenda. It's an authorizations and event, Seaside Park PTA Halloween Parade. Its date, October 27th, 2024, time 12:30 p.m. to 1 p.m., location Boardwalk 6th Avenue to 3rd Avenue, Police Station Lawn, and any approval by the governing body would be conditioned upon the applicant also obtaining an Ocean County permit. Any questions, comments?
Mayor, also the certificate of liability insurance that they supplied is fine. It's got the Borough of Seaside Park, so we're good to go.
Thank you, Steve. Any comments from council? Or if not, a motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Councilmember Condos,
Second.
second by Councilmember Kraft. Roll call.
Councilmember Condos?
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft?
Yes.
Councilmember Anfield?
Yes.
Councilmember Connor?
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda?
Yes.
Council President Wilk?
Yes.
Motion approved.
Now,
Yes.
Next are the resolutions I'll read in summary fashion. 305, standard resolution authorizing the municipal clerk to advertise requests for proposals for professional positions for the year 2025. 306, authorizing the renewal of a shared service agreement with Ocean County for the drug recognition expert call-out program fiscal year 2024-2025. 307, authorizing the renewal of a shared service agreement with Ocean County for the driving while intoxicated enforcement program fiscal year 2024-25. 308, authorizing the mayor and municipal clerk to sign and execute a shared services agreement between the Borough of Seaside Park and County of Ocean to use and share revenue from the Ocean County recycling centers. 309, accepting grant funds from New Jersey Board of Public Utilities in the amount of $10,000 for the Community Energy Plan Grant. 310, requesting approval of items of revenue and appropriation. 311, awarding a contract to Allied Painting, Inc. for power washing of the Southside water tank. And 312, authorizing the execution of a change order number 1 for the contract with Earl Asphalt Company for the improvements South Bayview Avenue ongoing project phases 1 and 2, as per the work session discussion. Any questions, comments from council on any resolutions?
No.
Should we say that?
I think you should.
Okay.
And every town has to have one.
There's one modification for one resolution on the advertisement for the clerk. It's an additional authorization. It's required, mandated by the state to have a position of alternate municipal prosecutor as well. So that should be included on the list.
On 305, is that one?
Yes, that's the number 1, 305.
Can you just repeat what the title is? Alternate what?
Alternate municipal prosecutor.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments from council on resolutions? If not, it's our practice to allow comments from the public on any resolutions that are not required by law. If anyone in the public has a question or a comment, rather, on resolutions, if you could give your name and address into the record. Yes, Mike?
Mike Spadafino, 59th Avenue, Council Candidates. Regarding 309, the $10,000 for the Community Energy Plan Grant, can we have a clarification exactly what does that mean? Can anybody tell us even some parameters of what this is going to be for?
So we received that grant from the BPU, and that allows us to hire a consultant to create our town's energy plan. And then once the plan is created and it's time to implement it, there's a lot of grant funding available to actually implement the plan. So this grant covers the cost of the consultant who's going to write the energy plan.
Thank you, Karen. Any other comments on resolutions? Faye?
Yeah. If you don't mind, Faye Herring, 21 I Street. On 312, the 207,000, or 207,000 plus for the additional on Bay Ave. Since that's a county road, is that 207 our share of overage? I mean, it's a county road, so.
It's potentially, but it is indeed, it's a joint project going with the county. The county's funding, I don't have in front of me what they're funding.
Our share of overage is 207,000?
If we let the full 20%.
If we go up to the 20%.
Yeah, and the county didn't kick in, but it's our understanding that the county is going to share this with us. But they won't tell us what until we provide them what the cost is. So
So you're saying you don't think it's going to be the whole 207,000?
Not out of our pocket, we don't believe. It could be, but we don't believe that to be the case. It could be 10% since we don't have the actual cost numbers yet. But we just wanted to protect ourselves and just to, provide the maximum amount should we need it.
Any other comments on resolutions? Hearing none, I'll close the public. I would entertain a motion as a consent agenda from the council on the resolutions.
So moved.
Motion by Councilmember Rotunda,
I'll second.
second by Councilmember Connor. Roll call.
Councilmember Rotunda,
Yes.
Councilmember Connor,
Yes.
Councilmember Anfield,
Yes.
Councilmember Condos,
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft,
Yes.
Council President Wilk,
Yes.
motion approved.
And that concludes the resolutions and the written agenda. Anyone else on council have any other items at this juncture? I know one item we all join on as an announcement. This Saturday, Seaside Park will be participating with the Clean Ocean Action Organization for the annual Beach Sweeps event. Seaside Park was one of the original two towns, along with Lavalette, to participate in that activity. It's from 9 o'clock to 12. Anyone interested can pick up a data sheet from Clean Ocean Action. They'll be distributed. And you can go to any beach you want, all over town, whichever. A lot of people like to go to their own home family beach, wherever they like, and pick up refuse trash. And the data sheets, you log in exactly, not exactly, but that we have some veterans out there, as best estimate possible, all the items that may be picked up over time, and get the sheets back in by 12. And those are tabulated statewide through Clean Ocean Action. It's led to some positive regulations, some positive actions at the state level, including but not limited to some products and changes in packaging and the like. So it's supposed to be a nice weather day. So anyone,
right? Second half.
second half is where the pickup, but once you have bags and a data sheet, you can pick up any beach you want and spread out accordingly. So everyone's welcome.
That's Saturday?
This Saturday, yes. Any other announcements or anything from council? If not, we'll go into the audience. If there are any public comments, if anyone has them, if they could give their address and name into the record. Yes.
Tom Joseph, council candidate, 704 South Bayview Avenue. Next council meeting includes a public meeting to talk about, a public hearing, I guess, to talk about the plan to drill a well on the Desert Palm property. And I want to ask a couple of questions tonight, and you may not have the answers, but I just thought I'd start by asking. Now, my understanding is this new well that's being discussed is intended to replace well number 10, which produces cloudy water, turbid water. I'm not sure what the right term is, but water that we don't think is optimal. So my question is, if anybody knows, is there any kind of engineering study that explains what went wrong? Why did we end up with a well that produces water we don't like? If there is, I'd be happy to open it and read it, but is there any such thing? Does anybody know? Don't know?
Well number 10 is not in operation, right?
Well, I don't know how to answer the question. You're asking for a study on the, just
You
so I
drill a
understand.
well, you have well number 10. The water's undesirable, correct?
That is correct,
Okay, we agree on that, that's great.
yes. And not
But
only has.
obviously, something went wrong.
When was it
Because
done?
otherwise, we would use well 10, we wouldn't need well number 11.
I'm going to answer it.
Well, well number 10
No,
is
no, no.
a decommissioned well.
No.
Correct?
No.
Well number 10
No.
not only has fluids, the cloudiness, it also has an odor. The history of that well goes back 15 years,
At least.
at
That's
minimum.
fine, that's
The-
fine. I'm not
It
saying
has
well
to-
number 10 is desirable,
But
not even slightly. I'm just asking, if we've done any engineering study to figure out what went wrong, so that if we ever drill another well, we'll know what not to do.
I truly guess I can't answer that.
Okay.
I don't know if we have to study on what went wrong, specifically to answer that question, with all due respect. I don't know if we have a study specifically what went wrong.
I think it was.
I know the history of the well, to answer that. I know where it was drilled and the reason why. But that specific language, I'm not going to answer because I don't know if we have.
I mean, in general, when something goes wrong and you get to a result that is inappropriate, undesirable, and you go, okay, now we have to start over, then the first question should be, what did we do wrong so we don't do it again?
Well, do wells have a shelf life?
No, the reason
It was bad to begin with.
it was bad to begin with, that went through multiple councils, multiple mayors, I guess the answer, to be honest with you, the true answer probably is, there was no other location to drill the well. So they moved it over to try their luck into a different vein, and it did not work. If you ask my personal opinion with no report in front of me,
So the
I've been sitting at the council meeting for over 30 years, I'm only missing 2 meetings, that's gonna be my answer.
I'm not a hydrological engineer, and so I'm not going to venture an opinion as to what went wrong. I don't expect anybody on the council to be either, but I would have thought, before we said, let's build a new well, we would have tried to answer that question, and maybe we couldn't. I'm not sure there is an answer.
What we're going to be doing is drilling a test well,
Okay.
not the full.
Okay.
We do know
I
why,
do agree
we do
that-
know why we're getting that water that we're getting out of that well, is because it's pulling in clay.
I'm sorry, it's
It's pulling in clay. That's why the veining in that area was pulling in clay.
Okay.
That we know from the test of the water, that it was
You know
producing
there's
the
clay.
quantity, but there was a clay vein in that water that was pulling through that well.
Okay. That leads to my next question, which I did already open. Apparently, there is no study that says where you should put the next well to replace it, that gives you any opportunity to be sure, not sure, but increase the likelihood that the next well will be successful. And apparently, the solution you have is to drill a test well.
That's correct.
So here's my problem. Desert Palm property, which we don't own yet, at least as my understanding is.
We do own it.
We do.
Well, all right, I won't get into that legal argument because I'm not
Not a legal argument.
to
We
have
own,
it.
we own it. It's fine.
I'm not going to claim any knowledge in that area.
Okay.
Whether we own it or not,
We do.
I'm still pretty able to look at it and go, that's the most expensive piece of property that we own, short of the property land under Borough Hall. It's property on Ocean Avenue, it's a block-long lot. So before I would make the decision to site the well there, I would do an engineering study that says that is the only place in Seaside Park that we can put this well. Because otherwise, there's gotta be somewhere else that's cheaper land and is a better use of Seaside Park resources. And what I learned when I opened that question is there is no study, nobody's looked at it, or the Oprah request was wrong, and I don't believe that. I have a lot of confidence in the system here. So, to me, what I'm finding out is there's no attempt to say we should solve the problem so we know what we're doing this time around. We'll just do a test well, which is, I don't know what a test well costs, but I'm sure it's not cheap. And we're putting it on the most expensive piece of property we could find. And to me, it just makes no sense.
All right, thank you.
And that's my conclusion. It just makes no sense. And I'm extremely disappointed in the whole situation.
Any other public comments? Yes, sir.
Mike Spadafino, 59th Avenue Council candidate, once again. My friend Shirley isn't here today, so I'm going to ask the question. I know you're not going to be obligated to answer it. A few months ago, we had a concept presentation here about some of the ideas to supply at least some mitigation of bayfront flooding problems. Since then, as far as I know, I haven't seen any information to say that the Bayfront Committee has met since that time. It was supposed to go back to them, right? And the Bayfront Committee, it appears, hasn't met, or if they have met, they should have given a report, which I believe you should have at least given us privy to the fact that they're addressing the problem. So I'm not really expecting an answer, but if there has been a meeting of that committee and they've produced a report, I think it's appropriate that we should have been informed of the progress that that committee's making. Thank you.
Which committee, Matt?
The Bayfront.
The Bayfront Advisory Committee?
Yeah, the one that was sitting up here when the presentation was made.
I don't know if the Bayfront Advisory Committee's met, but I know the council has met a number of meetings.
Multiple meetings, but I
Yeah,
don't know.
multiple meetings.
My understanding was that
Including three this
back
week.
over to them because they're the experts kind of on it. I thought you were turning it back over to them to discuss the presentation that was made and have their input. That's what I thought was happening.
I know we share information, but I don't know if they've had a formal meeting or not, but the council's had a whole host of them, including this week,
Last week, we have.
last week.
And so in that case, I'd be, like to be able to, in the future, hear your progress, whatever it may be. Thank you.
I don't know that we have progress with one issue, that's the DOT, but they did write it wasn't a straight denial letter this time. They said it's, I forget their verbiage, interesting, an issue, a complex issue, and they're sending it up the food chain as this, so it is being looked at more than they did previously,
Have fun chasing that.
but we're working on another option as well, of if they're not going to assist us, we're going to work with the county. Any other public comments? Yes.
Let me ask a follow-up question. Tom Joseph again, I've said all the rest. Just a real quick question. At that last presentation, a couple months ago, there was a Plan A and a Plan B. Where are we on Plan A versus Plan B, or Plan 1 versus Plan 2?
Well, we're tossing it.
And I don't know, Karen, there's been so many meetings on the different issues, but I know we're moving ahead on options that meet either Plan B or Plan A or Plan B. And if you,
I guess both are still being looked at.
in my opinion, I haven't given up on a whole different plan as well, but I don't know of everyone else's opinion on that.
Is there going to be, I'm sorry, is there going to be another follow-up to try to take care of like O Street and up that end beyond the Mary?
That was one of the topics we worked on this week a little bit. I don't have any concrete proposals, but
You were looking at K Street at this
I
point.
know.
K Street.
K Street,
I know.
now we added on to the
Yeah.
But the other areas we're talking about, but that's a whole other element, we have bulkheads and properties that are too low, that we don't have any jurisdiction over. That's a whole other, completely different design element. We did add now K Street.
That's been added.
To get out, the engineer was given approval to start looking into that area and move forward. Actually, move forward on it.
Top of the 831 Guardians.
any other public comments? Hearing none, I would close the public portion. I'd entertain a motion from council for adjournment unless there's anything further from council.
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Motion by Councilmember Amabile
I'll second, Mr. Mayor.
and second by Councilmember Connor. Roll call.
Councilmember Anfield?
Yes.
Councilmember Connor?
Yes.
Councilmember Condos?
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft?
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda?
Yes.
Council President Wilk?
Yes.
Motion adjourned.
And thank everyone for coming out this evening.